My name is Lori Power. My company is MP Benefits, and I'm a group benefit consultant. Each week, I do the Shift Show because I think it's important that we all share. I think that the world grows better and more successfully when we all engage in conversation. If the adage is true that you are the sum of the people you hang out with, I am one of the most fortunate people you are ever going to meet because I hang out with fantastic people like Connie. So today we're celebrating. Anybody have the book in the room with them? Today we're celebrating Connie's achievement. This is a book launch. This is fun. And this is about the creative process. And in Connie's situation, how that creative process involves her work and what it's done for her. Tell me a little bit about your synopsis of OneNote and then why a book.
Well, it's hard to say a little bit here because I think OneNote is actually worded or called the wrong thing, because it's not one note, it's many notes. It's so much information, and it's maybe one note for me, but it really is everything about me in my OneNote. So OneNote is my memory. I'm not kidding. I do not have a memory anywhere close to Lori's. So if I want to remember stuff, and if I want to do stuff, if I have long lists of things that I need to remember to do, or ideas of shows to watch, or movies to watch, or books to read, courses to take, all that kind of stuff in my OneNote. I was at a doctor's appointment today, and he was telling me some stuff, so I was putting that in my OneNote, and it's just it's a great place to capture information, and it's available on your phone, available on your computer, available on your tablet, available anywhere you go. In a Speedo, I'm not sure where you put your OneNote, but if you had a phone beside you, you could use it. So, yeah, so that's my synopsis on OneNote. I forgot the second part of your question, so I should have written it down in my OneNote. Sorry, Lori, what was that other part?
I think we'd have room for it in our hoochie dress, right? So some things, the OneNote doesn't go with you to Vegas because nothing's supposed to come home from Vegas except what you want to bring home from Vegas.
Well, it goes there so you can plan out your day, but then once you've looked at your plan, then you can put it away.
Give me a little bit of history on how OneNote is just one avenue, maybe one segment of what Connie and Mission Computer is.
So that started 30 years ago. I started a computer training business, and I've been doing it ever since. Possibly because I'm just one of those very stubborn people, and I do, but also interested in education, love learning. And so what I do and what Mission Computers does is we help people learn technology. We help them get excited about it, inspired with it, and we help them press the go button and just get going on the rest of your life, whether it's at work or at home. All of this technology training can help you because it either gives you more time, so you have more time for your personal life, or it helps you with your time at work. And so what I do is I help people get their time back. And so teaching OneNote is just one of the things. Any of the Microsoft 365 products. My biggest demand before COVID was Excel. Excel is still very popular. I teach a lot of it, but now Teams and SharePoint are taking over in kind of demand level. So I'm doing a lot of that. But I also teach QuickBooks because I use that product every day for my own work. And that's my background is accounting. I was on the journey to become an accountant, and just happened my job ended up being in computers rather than accounting. So that's the road I took. Yeah, so databases is another big thing, is just kind of storing information and storing it well is where I have my roots, because my first job was about coordinating a database system for a nonprofit. And from there, I just saw, wow, information is so cool to put together and have in a place that you can find it fast, stress-free. So as opposed to all over my desk in piles, right?
And time is a non-renewable asset. Can't get it back. And time wasted is time lost. It's never coming back to you. But why a book, Connie?
When I think about what I have to offer, what's my legacy? How am I going to walk away from my business eventually? I think about, my kids and other people that I've encountered, and I want to leave something behind. So the best thing I can leave behind is my knowledge that I haven't had a chance to share with those people, or maybe I haven't shared it in its fullest amount because I haven't had that opportunity. I haven't had anybody want me to talk long enough to cover 324 pages. So there is the book, right? But yeah, so a book was on my goals list of why not do it? Why not push yourself and do something new? And so that, I mean, I feel like life is all about growing and learning and becoming better. And the book was a welcome addition.
Books are a process. They're not an overnight. They require a lot of deep thought into what you do on a day-to-day basis. What did your process look like?
So I worked with the publisher, by the way. So a lot of the credit of the book goes to the publisher because they really helped me steer everything in the right direction. So before I even was contracted to do the book, they're the ones, by the way, that gave me the book idea because they reached out to me. So I wasn't like saying I'm going to write a book in OneNote and one day I just start doing it. They asked me to do it. So they gave me an outline and they said, hey, how soon could you get an outline done for us? And I went, outlines? Do those all the time. I could probably get it to you. I was thinking in my head by tomorrow, but then I was saying, Connie, don't over promise or under promise. What, I forget the word now, but be more realistic.
Overpromise and underdeliver.
Yeah, that's the one. So see, she's the memory. Anyways, I said, okay, a week, and I thought, oh, a week, I can get it done in a week, or I think maybe I said 3 days. So then they sent me the template and it was like 7 pages long, the empty template of what they wanted for the outline. I went, oh, so I'm just like, okay, hang on. I might need 2 weeks on this. So that took me, I think I counted 20 hours or something. I was 25 pages in with my template. And that was the outline. And so everything in the outline was like, what are your 3 major topics? So divide up your book into 3 main areas. And then once you have those 3 areas, and this is just how their formula for doing it. I suppose you could have 4 if you wanted, or 2 if you wanted, but they said, okay, once you get those 3 areas, then kind of give an objective to what that area is about. And then once you have that objective, then write down, what are your topics? What are your chapter titles? And what's the objective of the chapter? What's the intro of the chapter? What's the summary? Who is it meant for? And just like, this is a book, this agenda or this outline. So it really made me think about OneNote in a very organized fashion, the way they delivered it to me. And it had to be step by step. Like I'm just one of those people that as soon as I'm doing something and I'm going, oh, I can't not talk about that because it's what they're going to be looking for next, or they're going to be wondering why this isn't working. So to me, it was just natural to I don't know, to have that many pages, to have it flow in the order it did. The hardest thing was chapter 1, actually, because it was about getting into OneNote. And I don't know if you guys have all read that chapter or know about OneNote and getting into it. It's an interesting product. Microsoft has a lot of options for you. And that's what makes that first chapter hard, because I have to tell you all the options. So it's almost too much information, but please keep reading because it gets better. It gets fun. I do some fun stuff with you. I give you some real cool stuff, examples, and I even have a little bit of humor once in a while, but you may not be laughing. I'm laughing. So, just keep reading, keep going.
So humor with OneNote. How has it made you view your day-to-day business? How has it changed you from before you wrote the book to now that you've gone through the process? And the process isn't overnight. This was a long, thoughtful, deliberate, strategic process. How has it changed the way that you do business?
Book was a huge undertaking. It took me 9 months. I worked a lot of evenings on that book and a lot of weekends because I had a day job. I had to still get paid and make some money. So it was great to have deadlines. So it taught me to look at my priorities a bit more and look at, what is it that I'm working on today, tomorrow, this month, and even like 5 years from now, because that book's going to be there forever. What else am I doing day to day that's going to be there forever? And how can I make sure I spend the right time on it and don't get lost in all the minutia of everything else, right? So it helped me prioritize. It helped me, understand that, if I can be accountable to a publisher, why can't I be accountable to myself and my business and my goals for what I want to do? So I just became better at that discipline, I suppose. And I'm not going to say I'm perfect. Believe me, I'm not. But just helped in that. And then quality. When I'm writing the book, and I'm, hundreds of pages in, and I'm like, wow, I write manuals all the time for my students. I really need to pick up the slack over there, because when you're writing a manual, you're just writing the instructions of, this is how you do this, and you just do it as quick as you can because you're teaching them. So they don't want to get a 5-inch binder when you're teaching them. They want something quick and easy. But yeah, I thought I need to improve that. So it just taught me to go to the next level, really.
What's the next book then?
Oh, I can't give away all those secrets. Yeah, no, my publisher's already reached out to ask me for the next book, and they want a bunch of ideas from me. So I sent them a bunch of ideas. I know what I want to do a book about. I don't know if this publisher will want to do it, but it's how to be a badass at technology.
Ooh, can we all be a badass at technology? Because we all
Yes, you
use
can.
it, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'm more of a clumsy, my shoes are too big for me, I'm going to fall head over heels kind of thing. So is that even possible?
Anything's possible. Just have to have commitment and interest.
And tell me what struck you most about the book.
I think what struck me is the extensiveness of it, but practically I'm pretty comfortable with technology. So that part for me wasn't as interesting as actually some of the guidelines or templates of where to use it, how to use it, not from a step by step, but more of a broad, have you thought about doing this, or have you thought about doing this, or have you considered you could do it this way or this way, but if you do it this way, you're likely going to run into less problems later on. And I really like that part of it. That resonated with me.
I like that give back, isn't it? You don't see that often in a book like this, where it seems like they're always telling you. But in this book, it's like, I'm going to give you the information. How do you think you might use it? Have you looked at it from this perspective? Why did you do that, Connie?
Because I see it all the time when I'm teaching people, and it just hurts my heart when they don't use the technology to help them. They're just, so I really want to encourage people to take action and to find a reason to make it work. And I know that they take that one step to make it work, that step will lead to more and more and more steps. Because the biggest thing I get from people is that, oh, I don't need OneNote, I use my note thing on my phone, or no, I like my spiral notebook, you're not taking away from me. And that's totally fine. You know what, I'm not going to go against any of that. I just want you to think of one thing that would be helpful for you to have referenced in a digital form that you can access anywhere, anytime. And, that will build onto itself, because once you get that bug in you with that one thing and you start using it and seeing what it can do, I know it's going to grow. I just have confidence. So motivation was key. I wanted to really motivate throughout the book to tell people to, try this, use this, and here are some scenarios and think about it. So it's not just about, hey, press this key and this does that. Who cares? Why would I press that key?
That's an empowering element that a lot of people who write, a lot of authors don't remember to do, is to empower your reader. I think Joanna says something that you hear very often, and I do want you to address it, Connie. If Connie can teach me, she can teach anyone.
Joanna is a very good student, and I love working with her, as I worked with Angela. I've had that privilege as well, and Lisa and Mick and Pat and well, all of you, and definitely in talking with you and stuff. But the biggest thing there is just having that patience, right? And just and knowing that, how are you supposed to know this stuff unless somebody teaches you? And yes, you can Google your face off, your fingers off, maybe it'd be the better thing to say, or YouTube it all you want, but how did that help you with that one little nugget of information that might have been out of date or the wrong reference or relevancy for you? So I wanted to make sure that I gave people that patience. I give people that patience, and I let them know this is just the beginning, and we're just going to build and build and build. It's not done tomorrow. It's you. And when people, the biggest thing too is when I'm teaching, and hopefully this comes across in my book too, is that I don't want people to think, the computer dummies book, that name caught on so well for people, but I hate it when people say that they're a computer dummy. They're not. Just don't have that experience yet. I'm a gardening dummy, or I'm a insurance dummy, or whatever you want to say. So what? I just don't know it yet, and so I just have to have that inspiration and that person that can help me along, and that's what it's all about.
And you're right. We could Google it. We could YouTube it. And there you get back to that lost time, lost productivity. How much more can you gain? How much more efficient could you be with the right training? That really is it. That resonates with me. One of the first things that I remember when I first met Connie is how she said she never picks up somebody's mouse. They always have to do it themselves. And that to me resonates very well with the book. That in reading this, I know you're not picking up my mouse. You're not doing it for me. You're enabling me to do that. And again, the curiosity is there. What did other people think about that book? How has it helped them with their productivity?
I'll share a little bit.
Mhm.
Just because I went from using 3 different apps. So I had Todoist to capture everything that happened throughout my day. And then I later set a time to organize it into my Evernote. And then I had a separate app for all my habits. And so now, after reading Connie's book, I have one app, which is just nice not to look at 3 different spots. And it's just been good. And I'm a fan of like the Getting Things Done philosophy by David Allen. And it works beautifully with OneNote and Connie's methods. So it helped me organize and simplify for sure.
I know a common book that we read too, Corbin, is the Atomic Habits. And this flows very well into
That's
creating that one habit and getting things done. Pat, what was it like for you? What was your takeaway on the book?
Well, I think I probably drove Connie crazy because I am the proverbial quickly jotted down on the back end of an envelope person. And then I would be shuffling through and, I would remember which envelope and what it looked like and all that stuff. It's all just clutter in the head. And even though I might not lose the notes, it's just clutter. And so poor Connie, she was very patient with me as I, but this is how I do it. And so Connie, you'll be happy to know I've started using OneNote in more detail. And we share a OneNote with my assistant and myself. And I am sometimes singing a little happy dance as I go, I know exactly where that is. And I can click in OneNote and find it. So thank you very much. I'm a reformed envelope jotter downer that's happily using OneNote.
Well, at least it wasn't the napkin.
No, I came from that generation where you don't waste anything. And so when I open the mail, I have all the envelopes in a little stack, and I use them for note paper because you don't recycle them. And so now I think I put 8 envelopes in the recycle bin on Sunday, Connie, and they'd not been written on because I've been using OneNote. So thank you.
Well done.
Awesome. Congrats.
Well, OneNote's a bestseller on Amazon, for those that may not know.
I don't know. I mean, it actually, I need more reviewers right now. So in order to keep that kind of where I'm at, we just need to get more people reading it, more people reviewing it and stuff. So it was released April 29th, I believe. So that's almost 2 months.
Yeah, but you're there. It's not everybody can say, especially with a technology book, Connie, that they made the Amazon bestseller list. I mean, come on, that's worth a shout out. Well, we're I want people just to unmute here because this is getting a little quiet. It's a little quiet. We need to put Connie on the spot. We need to get the celebration going. We truly do. This is an achievement, Connie. And I want to know something you're going to put in OneNote, but you maybe didn't want to share it earlier. So it may not be. I like what Corbin said, it took his personal habits and put them into it to coalesce into one app. What are you putting in there that you had different apps for stuff? What's you know, I get it. You're probably going to say going to the gym. I'm going to put some stuff like I need the bottle of something for the weekend, or somebody's coming for a visit and I'm going to, you know, like we can use it for everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Everything.
Sorry, I just want to jump in because like Pat, envelopes were my friend. Paper notebooks. I think honestly, I'm starting to think that maybe to celebrate your book, Connie, I'm going to burn all my paper notebooks.
Oh, okay. Let's have
And
a burn.
actually, I just spent a few hours this morning. I'm putting together a course that I'm launching in the next few weeks, where I typically would have done that in Word, and then I would have, you know, I would have had things in all different places, like Corbin was saying. And so now it's all organized into OneNote, and because I read the book and I'm using headings, and I'm going to be able to search for things. And I've been using it pretty religiously since I read the book, actually, because it was a bit life-changing for me. My creativity comes through a pen, but there's so much technology out there with pens now too. So this is my iPad pen. And so I will do stuff on my laptop when I'm at my desk, but my iPad comes with me in the evening. And when I get ideas, then I jot them down in my OneNote ideas page.
Perfect.
Wow, that's
Thank you.
great, because it is, you know, things don't happen just simply 9 to 5. I agree, Pat. I think we need a celebration intervention here.
Funny story about, like, you know, how I got through the book too is maybe it's not a funny story, but my kids are laughing at me. But anyways, when you have all these chapters to write, and you're like, yeah, and publisher says, okay, so can you get this chapter done by this week? You know, by Friday or whatever. I learned very quickly to never say Friday, because it would be like, no, I need the weekend to finish it off or start it. So I'd always say like Monday or Tuesday of the following week, and so they kind of got used to that with me, and they just loved me. Like I got the best testimonials from these people that from Pact, and I thought, geez, I'm like 3 days late on my chapter. I'm sorry, you know, and they're just like, but I was very responsive whenever they were asking me questions. So anyways, it's getting to deadline, and there's Connie. You know what? Of course, I've got work during the day to do, but at nighttime, doing everything but writing. And I'm just, because I just know once I sit down in that chair and I start writing, I have to stay there and be focused. And it could be 3 hours, it could be 5 hours. There's many times it was like past 1 o'clock in the morning when I was still writing, but I wasn't tired. I wasn't gonna give up. In fact, if I did need a little burst of energy or inspiration, I would just turn on the tunes like really loud. And because the kids were sleeping and stuff, I had to have the headset in. So I'd start dancing on my chair, you know, and moving my hands around. And so that was kind of hard to type when you're moving your hands around. So, you know, but then it ended up being, what do we need a chair for? So then I started dancing in my office, and then I went to the hallway and I was kind of dancing with my headphones on. Well, what did you know? My daughter at 1 o'clock in the morning comes down and she's like, we can hear you. I'm like, how? I mean, I've got my headphones on. You can't hear anything. It's you're stomping. You're stomping. I'm like, oh, sorry. I was just having a good time, and I really needed to do that to get more energy. So it worked. I mean, I learned not to dance in the hallway anymore. But just, and I mean,
But doesn't that show through that creative energy, that pull it in and get it out? Yeah, you get into that zone, and whatever gets you into the zone, and how you are, the mood that you're in when you're creative. I love what you said, Lisa, about, you know, your creativity comes through your pen. It absolutely does. Whatever mood you're in is going to absolutely show forth in whatever creativity aspect that you're looking at. And that's writing, could be painting, it could be drawing, it could be dealing with your clients.
I have a comment, Lori. So I've just added a celebrations note to my OneNote. My coach asks me every week, what are your celebrations for the week? And so I have them not written on envelopes, but in various little journals or Post-its are my favorite. So I'm going to start just putting them in there so that I can remember, and I don't have to wait and hope that I'll remember later. So maybe some people would like to do that so that they remember things that they should be celebrating every week.
I love that. That's wonderful. Thank you, Patty. What can we do to send Connie off today and say, this is an incredible achievement. We are so proud of you, but more importantly, we're so proud to know you and be in your company and celebrate with you.
Congrats,
So
Connie.
excited for you.
Congrats, Connie.
Thank you,
More noise,
Connie.
more noise, we want more
Fantastic.
noise.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yay!
Yay for Connie.
Now that's a party. There you go.
There you go. More noise. That's what we want in the room.
Yeah.
Thank
the
you.
noise is what you need.
Exactly. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. This is our final show for this season. We're back in September. Lisa and I are going into collaboration mode, and we are going to shift culture. And we are going to be interviewing. Chris is going to be our first interview. We're going to put him on the hot seat. And we have a lot of great things planned for September. And we're going to use OneNote and Teams, to which Connie is teaching us, in order to get organized and plan it out so that people coming in and sharing are going to get the value that they can take away to their business. Growth happens here. What do you say, Patty?
We start big things.
We start big things. We start things through connection, through conversation and engagement. I love that. Have a great weekend. And thanks so much for taking the time to share your time with us.